Welcome back to Talking Circles podcast. It's been a long time. I'm your host, Tyler Rust. And tonight we have a very special guest, two special guests, actually. He goes by the name of Tyler Carpenter. I don't know if you heard him or not. Maybe in the past week or two, maybe heard the name. Uh, Also with him, we have Brian Steele with Aggressive Graphics on board. So this is a pretty good one. Stay tuned for that. But first, let's get into the sponsors. We have ACT Tire and Auto out of Flora, Illinois. They're hopping on board again this year. They're great people over there. So we also have Bad Boy Mowers. If you ain't on a bad boy, what the hell are you doing? Iron Knights Welding in Goreville, Illinois. Thanks to all them. And let's get into this. All right, we're here with someone who doesn't need any introduction, Tyler Carpenter, and his partner in crime who does his raps and behind all the famous memes, Brian with Aggressive Graphics. Tyler, how you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Good. I want to start this interview off with where you started, your history and stuff like that. What got you into racing and where you grew up racing at?
Well, it could be a very long story, but I'll try to make it short and sweet. I got involved in racing because of my father, Freddie Carpenter. I was probably 4 or 5 years old when he started racing, and he had his very first race car. The times I remember more than anything was when he started running like a pure stock division, like street stock, basically like a Camaro car, a Monte Carlo with just literally all but a stock motor in that thing. And he just drug us kids to the track every weekend, and me and my brother and a couple of our buddies, we'd be playing with toy cars up underneath the bleachers. And the older we got, the more we started getting involved and watching Dad. And Dad never did give up, and he just slowly progressed. And it's taken a very long time to get where we're at, but he got us into it. He took a notice that we wanted to give it a shot ourselves when we was about 12 years old. I was 12, my brother was 13 or 14, and he started us kids out in a front wheel drive 4-cylinder, and we ran that division for probably 3 or 4 years, and which was a really good division from where we was at. Growing up, it was just knock the windows out of a car, throw a roll cage in it, and just put your seat in there and the safety harness. You're ready to rock and roll. But we started taking things a little more serious. Dad moved up at that point when we was running front wheel drive 4-cylinders. Dad moved up to late models. Well, he was running the steel block division. It was called semi-late back then. Kind of the thing we got now is just a late model with a steel block engine in it. And I think I was 15 or 16 years old. Dad decided he gonna get us a race car, a late model, give us one of his old ones, which was just a box of junk, but it was our box of junk. He didn't have enough money or whatever to get us both our own, so we took the one he had, and we had to come up with a number for me and my brother both to share. So my name was Tyler and his name was Chris. So our number was TC4 and Dad's number was C4. So that kind of was Tyler, Chris, and plus to add Dad's number in it. So it's a pretty cool deal. And we've just always progressed, just long time to get to where we're at, but we just kept digging and kept going and going and going. And this is kind of where we're at today. We started our own family-owned business, Kryptonite Race Cars, and we've just always been racing around our own backyard all of our life. It wasn't that we wanted to go, and we've always had dreams and highlights in our life that man, we need to just go run the World Outlaws or Lucas Oil Series, be on TV. That was just things we thought about. Didn't figure it ever going to happen, but it's cool to talk about it anyhow. So but here we are today, man. We're building race cars and we're slowly putting ourselves on the map.
Hell yeah, that sounds like a dream come true to me. But I kind of started off similar to that. Like you said, you're about 12 or 13 and watching my dad race growing up and his dad and stuff like that and playing with the cars and the bleachers and stuff. And sounds exactly the same. Now, what track was like your home track when you were growing up? What track did you guys normally race at?
About every weekend it was in Lubeck, West Virginia is literally about 5 miles from our shop here now, but it was the Ohio Valley Speedway was one of the tracks, and our other track we always went to was either I-77, which they call that track's for some reason got like 6 different names, but we call it I-77. Some people call it Jackson County Speedway, but it's literally kind of about a half hour from our shop on Interstate 77. Then we got another track. It's called Skyline Speedway. Those are pretty well our 3 good old home tracks, I guess you'd call it. We always just kind of stayed within them 3 tracks all the time. And I mean, we had no reason to go outside of them, honestly.
That sounds pretty nice. They're all pretty close to you. I mean, you're from West Virginia, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's yeah. Okay, cool. As I said, that's pretty convenient to have that many tracks close to you like that too. So, sorry, I'm kind of rusty at this whole interview thing, but I mean, we're going to get into this and we're going to get pretty personal too. So, so let's do the damn thing. I want to know about your nickname too. The Kamikaze Kid. Where'd you get that from?
To be dead honest, it was started. Some old man gave me that nickname. About the time I was 12 or 13 years old, we were racing at Skyline Speedway. You know, the adults at that point in time, I guess it was kind of unseen or really shouldn't be done when we was 12 or 13 years old running front wheel drive 4-cylinder. Like, it was a big deal to some of the adults. And I think the biggest problem is because we was pretty successful, you know. Granted, I didn't win but one race in my whole 4-cylinder career, but man, I was right there battling for the lead, winning heat races, and I bet you I got second place every time. Almost every time I was out there, I just never could get to win. But them guys got to the point where they was trying to crash me, and then they trying to say, well, we don't feel right racing against kids. And but I think it was more they was pissed off because the kid was knocking on their door. And so, you know, I started giving it back to them, treating them how they was treating me, running them hard, you know, rubbing. And then just at that point, I mean, I was only 12 years old, 12, 13 years old, but it kind of aggravated me. Like, why are these adults acting like kids? And here I'm a kid trying to act like an adult. So I was just running the heck out of the car and just, you know, trying to overperform, if that makes sense. And the announcer one day kind of said the Kamikaze Kid, and it's been that ever since. But that's going to have to change because, you know, I'm 30 years old, get ready to turn 31. So, you know, now I'm a big kid, I guess.
I hear you, brother. I'm 33. So, yeah, it takes some, I can imagine being that young racing against those older guys like that too, man. That takes some big balls, but yeah, Kamikaze Kid, that's pretty fitting, I guess. I mean, that's going against those older guys like that.
Something else about that whole deal, and I'm telling you what, if I was 4 foot tall, I'd kiss your ass. Like, them guys was literally, I was so small, I probably weighed 80 pounds and probably 4 foot tall, but we had to run 4x4 wooden blocks on my gas pedal and brake pedal, and I had a for my seat in that car. I don't know how many people's up to par, but it was basically like a little go-kart seat in there. It was an aluminum Kirky seat, but it was out of a mini wedge. And dude, I was wee little, and them guys just, I think it blew their mind how competitive I was getting. And because man, I've been wanting to win every time I'm in that car. I don't care if it's skateboard or not. Thing. And them guys got to the point where when they tracks finally told them, like, listen, this kid's racing. His father signed a waiver for him that he's legal, whatever. They got to the point where they was literally wiping me out. They totaled 2 of my cars, put me 3 or 4 of them guys, put me in the wall and knocked the whole gas tank thing. And at that point in time, I was running like an Eagle Talon or a Plymouth Laser, like a Mitsubishi Eclipse Lancer type deal thing. Mm-hmm. And finally, I think Dad realized it got him out of that class. Hurt, but I was, you know, still back then, I was just a cocky little punk because they was making me that way.
Dude, they made you what you are today now, I reckon. So,
absolutely.
But yeah, that's hilarious. So the wooden pedals and stuff like that, and the small. It sounds like some Rico Avery shit.
Oh, that's no joke. It took me a long time to get some height in me.
Well, that's good though, brother. Before the Gateway Nationals, what was like one of your biggest races when you were younger coming up? What was one of the races that you won when you were younger that just sticks in your mind to this day?
The biggest race of my life before I actually had good equipment, I think it was 2013 or 14. It was the Jim Dunn Memorial Race, and it was at Midway Speedway in Crooksville, Ohio. Dude, I ain't kidding you, and I'm not I know people sick of it, but I ain't kidding you. I had junk, and literally that night, I bent my shock qualifying on the right front. Well, actually, I didn't bend the right front shock. A buddy of mine put the shock one wrong, and it was the first time I've ever had a canister shock. Well, he stuck the canister side of it out towards the ball joint, like towards the wheel and tire. Well, when I was qualifying, it knocked that hose off of my shock. Well, then it sprayed oil everywhere, and I qualified good, but hell, I didn't have nothing else to bolt on. So what I done is I took a quart of oil, squirted in that thing, and JB welded my end back on it. Right or wrong, that's what I done. And just so happened to be the track had a hole in the there was a hole in the track, and I somehow bent my track. Well, and I ain't kidding you, this is true stuff. I unbolted my left rear shock, and at that point in time, I had an open trailer. Hell, just lucky to even make the track with the stuff we had. And I unbolted that shock. Well, once again, I didn't have nothing else to bolt on. So when I unbolted it, I was talking to Dad. I said, man, this thing's bent, and it's not going to work. So I stuck it in the tongue of the trailer and pulled that thing around and used a hammer and beat it around to where it's pretty straight. And I went on to win that race, and it was, I think it was 5,000 to win. And dude, I thought I was rich. I was like I'm telling you, and you could go back, some of my interviews back in, but dude, I thought I won the lottery. I ain't kidding you. I kept telling them, guys, what are we going to do with all this money? Like, I can't believe we won $5,000. Like, I was so pumped up. I still got the check here somewhere from that thing. Like, never forget that, just because what I went through. And, at that time, I thought I had pretty good equipment. No, I didn't.
Yeah, you're gonna buy another shock with that money is what you're gonna do. Pretty much how that turned out. All right, I want to get into I just want to get in a little bit with Brian here and stuff. I want to know how you guys got connected and how your relationship started with Brian and Aggressive over there.
I mean, I think it kicked off at the 2019 Gateway Dirt Nationals. We our guys were down in the pits and just started the conversation and just kind of nurtured the relationship, and we've been partnered up ever since.
Cool deal. Now, trying to think, since that was 2019, Tyler, when was the first year that you ran the Dirt Nationals? Have you ran all of them?
I think I've been there 4 times. I have 4 events or 5 events. I've missed the very first one, and I've been to every one of them after that.
All right, cool. 50% win percentage. That's pretty damn good. Yeah. So leading into the Dirt Nationals, well, hell, the past years and stuff like that. I mean, how are you preparing yourself, your car, your team? I mean, everything. How are you preparing leading into the Dirt Nationals?
Man, that's one thing. Really, I don't do obviously I work cars day in, day out. So, my whole life consists around our racing package, whether it's my car, Dad's car, or a customer's car, because we own Kryptonite race cars. We are always working on somebody's race car. But
yeah, I was actually going to say, I was going to ask what your full-time job was, but I guess sounds like the whole deal. So, but yeah, go ahead.
As far as preparing for the Gateway Dirt Nationals, it normally, like I say, we're always last minute. We do this stuff normally the week before the event. We work really hard on our cars. So and this year alone, I wasn't sure what I was going to do because I broke a motor the last race I was out, and hell, I was out of motors. I done used all Dad's old motors, and we was out. So I was trying to figure out what I was doing about a motor this year. So I kind of focused on getting the car, a new body, worked with Tyler and them with Ed Aggressive, and got a new wrap on the thing. So I had the car looking like a brand new dime, but had no power plant put in it. And I up with and I tell you what, pretty good deal. So
catfish to everybody, pretty face, ugly inside, nothing in the inside.
Yeah.
Well, it turned out pretty damn good.
How did the deal come about with Mullins?
Kind of a crazy deal. I had a guy trying to work with me. J.R. Haley contacted me, wanting to know why I've been breaking so many motors. What is going on? Are they new motors? Is it something I'm doing? Well, long story short, this guy contacted Chad and gave him a rundown. Had anything that we could buy reasonably or use or rent or something? And Chad said, well, have that kid to call me. So I called Chad, and we worked out a deal on a percentage to run it was just a steel block motor. It was a wet sump, just literally plug and play. So I love that. There's no oil lines, no nothing. It was literally a legit modified, open wheel modified motor that I borrowed, and was able to kick their ass.
Awesome. I love that. That's pretty awesome. All right, I want to get into some of you and your dad racing together and stuff like that. What is some of the best memories you've had racing with your dad? Maybe if you guys race together and stuff like that, just talk about racing with your dad and what that's been like.
Well, racing with family, period, not only just my dad, is very competitive around here. It's always who's going to have the bragging rights that week in the shop. So, some of the best races I ever had with my father would be, we was at West Virginia Motor Speedway for the Hillbilly 50. It was a steel block race, probably 2014. It was probably actually 2010 would have been when it was. We had, granted, I stuck clear up to feature time, and my dad was running really good. And my brother was, I believe, leading the race, or all but leading the race. And I had to come from like 12th or 13th or 14th or whatever, and come up through the field. And at one point in time, it was me, my brother, and my dad, all three, first, second, third. And we was racing really hard, swapping back and forth. And me and dad was battling for second the whole race. And I believe a lap bar or something got tangled up with my dad, or dad got tangled up with them and broke his J bar. Well, dad shot in the infield and the yellow come out. Well, somehow they managed to change the J bar under that yellow, and he come back out. Well, when he come out, I was trying to pass my brother for the lead. Like, he come out like a lap later when the green flag was out, and he just so happened to come out right in between me and my brother. And I tell you, I was aggravated with him at that point, because I was getting ready to pass him, my brother, for the lead. I ended up second that night, but even dad being a lap car at that point, we were still battling it out the whole time. And
you ran second to your brother.
Yeah, it was a very cool deal that night, just because it was like us three was the top of the chart field. And
that's hilarious.
There's several races, man. There's races almost every weekend here regionally, like back home, to where it's going to be me, him, and my brother wins almost every weekend. And it's one of us battling each other, slide jobbing each other, and I tell you, there's been times we'll lay the door to one another just because, you're going to have to hear it all week. You
ever lost a Christmas present over any of this racing deal? You ever bumped your dad out of the way and there goes your Christmas present?
Well,
I'd imagine that makes Thanksgiving dinners or dinner time a little bit awkward if, someone dirties another person up.
I'd say that, I feel like Noah never lost a Christmas present, but how do you know?
Yeah, right.
Maybe he had up going really fix me up, and he just told me, nah, not now.
No, you're good to go.
We battled out really hard, and we try to keep it fun between all of us. But between us and our crew, there's a lot of instigating going on all week, every week. And me too. That's like one night at the Ohio Valley Speedway, dad broke the track record qualifying. Well, I went out a few times, like a few cars after him, and I broke it. So then my crew was like, who owns the house down here, boys? We own this place. Like, just pumping each other up. But at the end of the day, we love each other, and we just race hard, and it's just all about, when you're working out of the same shop, somebody's better than the other. So it's just,
I hear you. You guys ever bounce ideas off of each other, or you guys just strictly, I'm going to kick your ass tonight? I'm not telling you any of my secrets.
No, we work. Well, we're just both so hard-headed. Obviously, we build these cars together. It's literally a team deal, but it's literally the type that we're so different, driving style and how we want the cars to react. Like, I ain't kidding you. All four shocks and springs and the gear and everything on his car is so much different than mine. Like the way they travel, I run a lot more drop than he runs. So it's one of them deals where driving style plays a big role in all that.
Yeah,
but it's in another sense, it's when he finds something that's really good, I don't want to do it because he come up with it. It's in it. Like when dad comes up with something really good, or I come up with something really good, he's like, nah, I don't really see where that's really what's making you good. Maybe we'll do a little bit of this and then do that. But we do use ideas off one another. And, that's the only way you're going to get good if you work together or work with someone.
Oh, yeah. Always pretty much brainstorming the entire time, just bouncing ideas off of each other. But yeah, I understand the whole driving aspect of it because you all drive the cars different. So that's kind of how it is with, I race micros and stuff. So it's kind of the same way. It's this person can give you a setup and be like, oh yeah, this is an awesome setup. And you drive and you're like, this is dog shit. I can't drive the damn thing.
Well, it's just whatever. How different mine and his. It's the same car. We got the same components, but the setup is so different. They look like two complete different cars on the track, and hell, we'll be battling for the lead. So it's
exactly. It's
crazy, and there's several people it's like that. It's just all in the driving style.
Yeah, exactly. Because people always like come to me like, "Hey, what's the setup? Information." I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll give you what I know, but your
I'll tell
driving
you what.
style, you may hate the
I,
damn thing. So, but yeah, dude. Now as far as I seen a video. Oh hell, I seen it actually because there's Windy Hollow Speedway who's kind of over here by where I live a little bit. I seen a little video that they helped you out a little bit over the weekend too. I kind of want to give them a shout out because I seen that they gave you a little bit of money for a tire and shit like that. Is there any kind of backstory to that, or they just come over just randomly and just be like, "Hey, we like you. Here, we're just gonna help you out," or something like that?
yeah, I think that's pretty much what it was. I mean, them guys come over to me and said they introduced themselves and said we're with Windy Hollow Speedway, and we'd like to buy you a right rear tire. And I appreciated the heck out of it, but I'm the
Yeah,
type of like, you ain't got to do that or whatever. But
yeah, I
it's
know.
at the end of the day, it was very appreciated, and I was thankful that they done it. So I mean, thanks to them, I went on to win the race on the right rear tire they bought. It went flat, but
I was gonna say,
it done
it didn't make it all the whole race, but you made do with it. So
the best out of it, I guess.
that's hilarious. So,
Them guys.
yeah, that's awesome. So I want to talk a little bit also. Uh, I wanted to kind of talk about like, I mean, like your personality and stuff like that. It kind of resembles to me, uh, like the way you, put yourself out there and stuff like that. Like it reminds me of Scott Bloomquist a little bit. And I know he's going to be kind of retiring. He's getting older and stuff like that. And like filling his shoes, I just feel like you're the kind of guy to do that. Now, how do you see that playing out and stuff like that? I guess 'cause I know he's going to be moving on eventually, and it just seems like you're the type of driver that fills that model. I guess you could say like the badass of the fucking sport. So, uh,
Well, I mean, I really appreciate you comparing me to that guy, like the dirt race. So that's badass itself. I try not to mimic anybody, but definitely my hero growing up, and mainly because he was somebody that most people wasn't. People hated him because of his success, and they thought he was just arrogant. But at the end of the day, he took his racing serious, and it was a business to him. And a lot of people doubt what he did, but he proved them wrong, and he became the face of dirt. And I feel like not that I'm trying to fill his shoes by no means. I think it's awesome that you're even trying to compare me to that, but I'm just doing what people think I can't do. I'm gonna force the issue and just show them that it can be done. Whether you have the funding or the backing to make it happen. I'll work extra hours or whatever it takes to put myself in a situation or be laid out to be successful. And
mhm.
there's nothing that's going to make me not race or keep me race unless it's a health issue or something to do with a family matter. But at the end of the day, man, if I got to work 26 hours a day, I'm gonna make it happen and basically just prove people wrong. And I'm afraid at the sport, not just because of me, but I'm afraid the sport's people like me and Scott, just the natural, the who you are. It ain't that we
Yeah,
just want to be arrogant or cocky or just cause a commotion. It's the fact that it's just dirt racing, man. And at the end of the day, you don't need a script book when you get out of the car. Or you
yeah,
need
no,
excitement
you,
to stay in.
yeah, you see that shit in NASCAR. It's just like cookie cutter shit. Like, oh, I got to play it by the book, or I want to get fined. But no, it's
Yeah,
just
that's
like
tough.
you don't want to be that. That's boring.
I mean, I
So
understand you keep things clean, but at the end of the day, you got to show some emotion. Like you got to be pumped up. Like when I win a race, and I ain't kidding you, I still win races at $1,500 to $2,000. Dude, I get excited. It ain't because like I'm just trying to put on a front. I just naturally love the fact I just won. I don't care who's out there, what's going on. I kick their ass.
exactly,
I mean, if you're not enjoying what you're doing, why are you even racing? I mean, obviously, if
exactly.
you got talent and you're putting on a show for the fans, but you get out and just acting like a schmuck, or you're afraid to say something, get out and be you. Or if you get out, and wow, get the hell out of racing, let somebody else fill your shoes. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah, I hear you.
somebody, it's got the determination and eager. Just like I'm not saying you got to get out and be all pumped up, but just the emotion.
Yeah, the fans love that too, especially the kids. All right, dude. I want to talk a little bit about like partnering with tracks on site, like the advertisement stuff like that. What you guys are trying to do, kind of what your target market is and stuff like that. Kind of chime in with that a little bit too.
Yeah, for sure. work with a lot of racers and have a lot of relationships in that realm. So we're trying to grow the market as far as helping tracks with on track and around the track advertisements, any type of sign, billboard, wall decals, as well as we build custom trophies, for weekly programs, as well as, ultra custom for awards banquets and year-end type events. So we have a full fab shop and CNC in-house. So there's pretty much no limit to the design. So yeah, that's where we're kind of trying to lean in the racing market is grow the relationship with the promoters.
That's awesome. That's cool. That's good to know too, because you guys are out of Highland, Illinois, right?
Correct. Yep. So
Awesome.
we're Highland Speedway is probably about 5 miles from here. We're about 40 minutes from I-55. Beau Claire was about 30-minute drive, but
that's sad.
Yeah,
I've seen pictures of that place and I'm just like, man, I miss racing there, and now it's just looks like a forest.
Yep, it's all grown up. So hopefully,
yeah, it sucks.
Hopefully things may change. There's a bunch of rumors going on, but you don't know. But hopefully, somebody swoops in and 2022 we'll get it open back up maybe.
That'd be awesome. That make that place great again. All right, I want to go back to just touch base, kind of jumping around a little bit, but I just want to touch base being on track at Eldora with your father as well, Tyler. What was that like racing with him at Eldora?
Well, I enjoy him every time I go, but it's just a piece of history you'll never forget. That place is bad to the bone. We haven't really got to perform very much there. But we have. I mean, I've ran with Dad side by side there, so it's just an awesome opportunity, especially somewhere like Eldora. A lot of exposure. You're around a lot of people. It's a big track. Kind of feels like you're a NASCAR. So it was just an awesome deal and experience to be able to experience that with my father.
Yeah. When did you run there with him? When was the last time you've been there? I guess.
I really don't even know. It's been a couple of years. I think I raced there. I try not to run in places unless I feel like I'm laid out right, like engine wise. I try to, like, obviously I love the fact that I love all the exposure and the prestige of the track and the events, but I try to just, obviously I don't want to look like somebody that can't perform when it's not me. It's just either my equipment or my motor or my knowledge ain't capable of doing it. I'm hoping that in the future that me and Dad be up or battling for the lead at Eldora or multiple places. It's just like that. So
yeah, that'd be awesome to see. I kind of started a little bit late. Are you a Billy Moyer fan or not?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, who don't like the
all right, cool. Because that is like literally the only late model shirt that I have. I feel bad now that I can't even fucking get it right. But yeah,
there you go.
Dude, I bought this thing back. Years ago when he came over to I'm from Hopstadt, so he came over to Tri-State Speedway in Hopstadt, Indiana, and I got his shirt, and I was like, hell, this is the only late model shirt I have now. I see you got Chris Carpenter, your brother, on there, and
yeah,
I want to get me a Tyler Carpenter shirt now too after this. So
Moyer, is that senior?
Senior.
There you go. I shouldn't say it, but junior's a punk.
Yeah, I got senior shirt on, so. But yeah, that's I just wanted to touch base on that because I was like, shit, should I take this off? Does he hate Billy Moyer? But that's all good.
Vote for yourself.
But yeah, all right. Well, I don't have too many more questions left. I usually do this like all my interviews and stuff like that. Just kind of talk about just like not really personal questions, but like just favorite food, beverage, and shit like that. So I'm just gonna ask a few questions, just like bouncing off the walls. But like, what's your favorite food? What do you like? What's your go-to?
My go-to be tacos, homemade tacos.
Tacos. Hot damn. I got a couple buddies that love tacos. They're assholes though. Beverages. What's your favorite beverage?
It have to be Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola?
Definitely Coca-Cola.
Yeah. That's awesome. There goes the Pepsi sponsorship you're looking for.
Yeah.
Hobbies outside of racing. You got anything? I mean, obviously, you probably don't do shit outside of racing because that's your life right now. But anything like when you're growing up, did you have any hobbies outside of racing, or do you have any now?
Nah, I mean, realistically, I've been kind of like a rock all my life. Been around rather mechanic work or welding or fabricating. That's literally all I know. So I mean, I do enjoy other stuff like outdoors stuff like that, but I ain't much of a camper guy. I don't like anything like that. I don't get into fishing or hunting. Like I'm strictly a racing guy, and if without racing or something to work on, I feel like I maybe. But um, obviously, I like to do outdoor events like going through trails and stuff like that. Maybe take the kids and do some stuff, but it's mainly I'm just here at the garage, always trying to reinvent the wheel.
I hear you. Kids, you got a couple kids.
I
Got
got
a nice
5
5 kids.
miniature
God,
army
you're a busy man.
on and off the track.
How old? What's the oldest? How old's the
She's
oldest?
11 years old.
You gotta get him into some 4 cylinders. Knock the windows out of those
Uh,
bastards.
they've been wanting to get in the mini wedge thing, like the go karts. But hell, I think I'd rather just stick them in a late model or an actual race car. But
Get after it right off the bat.
get
It's the
it.
best way to learn. Kamikaze Junior.
That's right.
All right, dude. I don't think I have too many more questions for you. I mean, I as soon as I get off of here, I know I'm going to have a bunch for you, but I think we've gone pretty far. I do want to talk about one thing. Is obviously where we at? Right over here, the Hey Dudes. Is there
Right.
anything that you can talk about? I'm not trying to push anything, but I mean, obviously, what you did in your prelim night was it kind of made the news a little bit. So, is there anything? Has they tried contacting you or try to, have you tried to get any traction with them?
Well, at first, no, I just kind of took everybody was making so negative and try to turn it into a positive. But um, one thing led to another, and it started creating a lot of traffic. And we contacted them. Aggressive actually contacted them for me, and was
Nice.
I just put it in the ear like, hey, what do you think? Hey, dudes on the side of the car. They kind of immediately turned it down, and one thing led to another, and was talking back and forth, and they messaged them before the feature Saturday night and said that we've taken notice on a lot of this got a lot of attention, so we may see what we can do, what we're able to do, talk with further up into their management and marketing or whatever. And all I can say is that we have been in contact, and there's nothing chiseled in stone. All we can do is just wish the best and see how things do pan out. But we're hoping like we can work some sort of an agreement out and become teamed up with them in 2022.
Cool deal. Hey Dudes, if you're listening, I'm not buying a pair of damn Hey Dudes until you sponsor this dude right here. So you better fucking put your name on the side of that car, or else I'm not buying a pair. I'm not gonna tell anybody about your shoes unless you do. So yeah, get this dude sponsored, man. He's making a name for himself. He's coming up through the rankings. Obviously, Carpenter name in the late model world has always been big. So, all right. And before we get out of here, I just want Tyler. I just want you to talk about what makes it possible for you to get to the track every weekend. Sponsors, merch, anything that you want to plug. Shoot it out there.
Well, you got to thank each and every sponsor. Bigger, they all make a difference. It's obvious, Progressive really excited, so they've been a big part of my team success. Air Max Heating and Cooling, Holdren Construction, ML Performance. He's my shock guy. He does a really amazing job with me. Weir's Machine, Bill Stein Race Shocks, Go Lithium, QA1, Franklin Rear Ends, Speedway Car Cams has really got some pretty cool footage of the car. So I'm going to give him a shout out on here. That guy's been pretty good with, keeping racers need media guys, whether it's footage, pictures. I want to thank each and every one of them guys because each racer, I guarantee, goes back and looks how the car's reacting. And so I want to thank them guys for what they do for us. RTI, Spring Smashers, Keyboard Warriors, all you haters. I appreciate you guys because you're a lot of what motivates me.
Fuel to the fire.
That's right. I love you guys. Dirt Car Lifts. Man, and I'm sure I'm forgetting several, but you know, each and every one of the names on the car, it's tough without. Um, I'm just thankful I do have what I got in dirt racing. Um, as far as merchandise goes, you know, that's the fans. I got to thank each and every fan that does support me, even the ones that don't. You know, if you're talking about me, I appreciate it. You're bringing up my name to attention, and it's keeping my name out there. So, you know, you can buy my merchandise on, I got a website. It's on Shopify. It's Kamikaze Clothes. You can on there, you can buy whatever we have available. I got a new shipment coming in, hopefully before Christmas. Maybe have some more things available, some new items that I've never had available before. For instance, like these canvases we just put out. I've never had anything like that. So you guys are welcome to get them. They're just limited time only. You can support me on Tyler Carpenter Racing on Facebook. I have a Twitter page. I believe it's Tyler Carpenter Motorsports on there. But, you know, other than that, I'm not a big internet guru. I don't know a whole lot. And, you know, I just appreciate the ones that do support me, and I try my best to make the best out of what we get.
Hell yeah, brother. I appreciate you coming on. Brian, you got anything before you go?
Just some exciting stuff with Tyler, and you know, we've been in talks with a few of the tracks. We got some awards going for some local tracks, Highland and I-55. So some exciting stuff. We're looking forward to being able to help Tyler, you know, kind of grow and you know, with marketing and stuff like that. So a lot of exciting things happening, and looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, guys, I appreciate you coming on here. Hope you had a good time. Tyler, I know you've been bombarded with interviews and people trying to get a hold of you and stuff after your big win and stuff, but I'm happy that you took time away and talk with us a little bit, and I appreciate it. Hope everyone enjoys it.
Thank you, guys.